Welcome to the Coaching Crowd podcast with me, Zoe Hawkins, and my friend and co-host Jo Wheatley.
Hi, everybody. Today we are sharing with you 12 ways to make money from coaching. And hopefully there'll be something in amongst that you haven't thought of before that you then sparks an idea for you. The reason we're covering this topic is because coaching is an amazing profession to be part of. There are also practical things that we need to consider if we're thinking about, pivoting your career to coaching. Or perhaps you set up a coaching business and you need to pay your bills, or you want to live, to buy even more things, or, have that security around it. So it's an important practical consideration, whether you're at the start of your coaching journey thinking about training to be a coach, or if you're trying to grow your coaching business.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the very beginning of making money from coaching is to make sure you're really good at it. Because if you aren't a great coach, you may be great at marketing and getting clients, but you aren't going to get referrals that's going to be sustainable. So, we are biased, but it starts by having a really good, solid foundation in your coaching skills with a coaching qualification. So that would be your first kind of journey. And I think the first place then, so we'll call this number one, that you would make money from coaching is obviously serving one-to-one clients. That is typically what most people focus on when they're thinking of coaching. So in the coaching qualification, that's what you're going to learn is how to do, certainly with us, 6 sessions of transformational coaching with a client. And out of the gates of your coaching qualification, typically people are thinking about doing one-to-one coaching, whether that's as an internal coach or working in a corporate. So I think that's an obvious one that you've probably got in the bank, but we wanted to get that out there first.
And then number 2 is group coaching, because when coaches realize there's a cap as to the amount of clients that they can work with and be fully present and do their best coaching with, they start to sometimes think, is there another way? Or they start to think, I really enjoy one-to-one coaching, but I miss the energy of a group. And I think there's extra value that my clients can get from being part of a coaching group. So then they might start to look at, could I build that model into my coaching business? And often what happens there is the clients will pay, this isn't always the case, but often they'll pay less than they would pay for one-to-one coaching, because they're not getting that one-to-one time with you as the coach, but you've got more clients paying amount of money. Now, sometimes it may be that your group coaching program is so amazing, that it's even more than your one-to-one coaching, and that's up to you and the quality of what you have to offer. But it is an alternative way to one-to-one to be able to generate income from your coaching services.
Yeah. And of course, you've got scale, haven't you? So the ability to charge more people gives you perhaps the same amount of time, more income. So it's scalable for you. So the third one would be educational workshops. So with your coaching training, obviously you're learning all about how the mind works, certain skills in terms of coaching. And there are lots of organizations, particularly that are interested in things like building resilience or health and well-being. So you may use what you learn through both your coaching training, your coaching clients, and the wisdom that you gain through the different needs that people have to create educational workshops that you sell into either perhaps it's organizations or even on the public. So you're not necessarily taking people through a coaching program, but you're sharing information that's going to enhance their world in some way. And educational workshops are particularly popular within the corporate sector.
Yeah, so you might call those educational workshops or trainings, different terms used in different places. So it's taking bite-sized elements from what you know and being able to share that knowledge with others. That was number 3, I think. So number 4, you might combine your one-to-one coaching expertise and your group coaching expertise into a leadership development program. So you might have organizations that want you to come in and support their leadership team or middle management teams to grow and develop as leaders, often against their competency frameworks. But you might create it as a group coaching program, and you might also have the one-to-one coaching with people on that program as part of it. We certainly have done that as part of our journey to where we are today.
Yeah. And, when you're thinking about how you're creating these leadership development programs, they can be underpinned by the principles of coaching. So you're using everything that you've learned in the work that you've done with clients to create a really robust experiential program for people. So another way, we all know I can't count when we come to doing these podcast episodes. I think we're on number 5. So I'll look at Jo, she's
We
nodding at
are.
me. Excellent. Another way would be to create your own associate coaching organization. So you may not want to be an independent coach. You may be much more interested in working as a consortia. So perhaps you bring together a number of different coaches. And the benefit of this is you may be able to offer a range of different coaching services. So let's say you connect with somebody who's very much into health and well-being and yoga and mindfulness, as well as somebody who's very action orientated. So you may be able to create an offering that is a suite of different styles of coaching that may be appealing. Or perhaps you all come together as, let's say, career coaches. You all have a focus on career coaching and you create more of a career coaching consortia, which can create a strong offering, perhaps for outplacement support for organizations. So when you come together as a consortia and of coaches together, you can create perhaps a stronger brand, able to serve more people at scale. And with that, you'd obviously need to consider your working relationships and your commercials. But that can be another way to think about not actually setting up as an independent coach, but creating a company, a consultancy, a consortium that has a bigger vision and a bigger plan to be able to move forward.
And a different version of creating that associate model is it's your organization. You get contracts with other organizations that you can't fulfill whole self. You need to have, a number of different coaches, as Zoe was describing, in order to be able to fulfill that. So if you take organizations like BetterUp, Ezra, and so on, they provide coaching at scale, often at a low cost because of the scale, which makes coaching more accessible. It's great for coaches because they get to build their coaching hours up. They get a range of experience. But you may choose to have a business model that is set up like that. It's something that Zoe and I have considered in the past, and we haven't chosen to go down that route. I always say yet because you never quite know, what we'll be called upon to do. But it certainly is something that often enables more people to access high quality coaching. And think big. Think about what is it that has brought you into coaching in the first place. Like for Zoe and I, as you know, we care very much about that kind of everyday mental health and well-being of people. And when we discovered coaching, we thought, gosh, we wish we came across it earlier. At school would have been great, but even earlier in our career. And we just really feel passionate about enabling as many people as possible to have access to high quality coaching. So, we've chosen to or only had the time to explore and develop certain things so far, but it's certainly something that it is a way to make money from coaching. So that was number 5. Number 6, what shall we say? Let's go with retreat for number 6. So that's on our minds because we're actually going on a retreat. We have talked about creating our own retreats and what that might cover. So yeah, it's very much on our mind. And interestingly, I think when we were doing our summit, somebody said to us, I'd love it if you could do a retreat, but they were talking about it as a one day. And I didn't think I wouldn't label a one day a retreat normally. So it was interesting to me, how different people have different perceptions of what a retreat is. I often think of a retreat as going away for a few days, somewhere secluded, being in a bubble with other people. You can't escape. You come face to face with whatever, you're doing. And hopefully there's some pampering or something along the way. So a retreat ultimately is whatever how would you want that to be? Maybe you would call it a conference retreat. Maybe it has some other, interesting pieces. But if you're somebody that likes to take, again, like a group of people, then it may not be a group coaching experience, but you could call it that, for the day. Maybe people that have never met each other, don't know each other, coming for different reasons. But think about what gives you energy when we're talking about these different ways that you could develop a coaching business. What are the ones where your energy shifts, you start smiling, or you think, oh my goodness, I'm going to go run away and do that now.
I think with retreats, you also don't need to be the sole person who's hosting a retreat. So you could be the host, but you could bring people in to do other things. So, this retreat that we're going on has a blend of kind of yoga, meditation, as well as workshops. So, think about the style of retreat that you might like to offer. And if you don't have all of those skills, that's fine. You can build your network and find people who you can pay to come in to deliver a certain piece of that retreat. And they have been enormously popular since COVID because people obviously do tend to work from home more. And they're looking for ways to connect, and retreats have really grown in popularity. So I think that's a great one for coaches. So 7?
Yeah.
7. All right. So with 7, you could think about coaching as a service offering amongst another organization that you might set up. So let's take consultancy as an example. It's a really popular one. We have a lot of people who work in change come on our programs, a lot of people that work in human resources. And so they may be thinking more around setting up a consultancy. But coaching can be an offering within your consultancy. So you don't necessarily have to come out of your coaching training and be a coach. You may come out of your coaching and actually set up a consultancy that is more aligned to the network perhaps that you have. But coaching can always be one of the services that you offer within that consultancy. And I think that can be a really great way for people to bridge perhaps the employment that they're in today and their aspiration to perhaps work more in that coaching space. So you can then focus, once you've got your consultancy set up and running, on growing the parts of the business that you're most passionate about. You can bring people in to do some of the consultancy work whilst you focus on developing the one-to-one coaching. So there's lots of ways that you can be flexible in your approach to building your business.
Yeah. So number 8 would be writing a book. Write a book on coaching. Maybe you're going to use the book to niche yourself, but a book is something that you can write in your own time, or in a condensed period, depending on if you're self-publishing or if you've got a publishing a deal or contract. It helps to set you up in the niche, but also it gives you that once you've created it, passive income. It obviously isn't completely passive because you got to write the book and format it and get the design and so on. And as you all know, we have a book out there called Deciding to Coach, which is all about how do you make the decision if coaching is right for you or not, and what are the business you could use to build a successful and sustainable coaching business. And we love having our book out there in the world. For us, it's partly because coaching, a service that we provide, isn't like a tangible thing that you can put on a shelf. And so for us, having the book was like, wow, we've actually created something that people can touch, and that people that aren't maybe as into coaching as we are still, actually get some benefit from or understand and be interested in. So I think a book's really exciting, and you can create an ebook. It doesn't have to be a fully blown, however many hundreds of pages book. It could be an ebook that you sell. And that kind of leads us into number 9, which is downloads.
Well, hold on the number 9, because I've got something to say about the number 8. So with the book, obviously there's the sales that you get from the book, which generate income. But if you're thinking about your book strategically, you'll use your book to position it to introduce and share some of your other services. So our book, in full transparency, Deciding to Coach, is there to support people to make a decision about whether they want to train as a coach. So it's a way to feed into some of our other services. So if you're writing a book, perhaps it's on mindset, you may introduce how coaching with you can be really helpful in their journey to support them with their mindset journey. So you can think about, yes, the income that you get from a book, but also where might that book take people into your organization that you're developing. So as Jay said, number 9, let's introduce downloads. So downloads are helpful as your audience grows. So you're not going to retire on it if you're just setting out, but they are a way to add additional income into people who are in your world. So offering paid downloads. So Joe mentioned there an ebook, which is straddling 8 and 9. But you may also develop journals, for instance, that people can either download or buy off Amazon. Maybe that should be number 10, wedging them together. You may create helpful resources that people would pay for to be able to download either from your website, or perhaps you have social content that people want to download something for free. And then on the back of the freebie, you offer them something paid that is related to the free resource that they have offered. So digital downloads are quite simple to create, and you can, they don't have to be for free. You can sell those as well. So think about what would be really, really valuable to my audience, and then you can create a product that is digitally available for them.
I think one of the good things about downloads is, it can be an effective and accessible way for people to access your knowledge, skills, and experience when they may not be able to afford to buy into a whole program with you one-to-one. So if you've created, like a 5-step process or your own model of thing that it works really well with your clients, and you think, I think this is something that could be used by people independently, that might be an ideal thing to be able to use as a download. Let's go to number 10. Number 10, I'm going to mention podcast. So here we are on our podcast, The Coaching Crowd. Please leave us a review if you enjoy it. The podcast, for us, it costs us money to produce. We don't directly make money from it because our podcast isn't sponsored. But if you had a successful podcast and you had a sponsor, then that would be a form of income that you could get from your podcast. But the podcast for us helps to support our business by having our names out there, people recommending it, and it enables people that are thinking about training to be a coach to decide, to find a way to get to know us, decide if they're aligned, if you're aligned to our approach to coaching. Do you find what we share easy to understand? Do you want to spend time with us on a coaching training program? So I think there are direct and indirect ways for you to be able to generate income from coaching. And we would encourage you to think about, for us, it's that duality around giving and receiving. So being able to add value and share things, and also we need to have an income to be able to continue to produce those things. So a podcast for us is a way that supports us to develop our business and generate income from what we do, so that we can continue to grow and develop the coaching services that we provide.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's 11. Are we on 11?
I think so.
All right, let's go with 11. So 11 would be speaking, so speaking events. And this could be in the form of motivational speaking, keynote speaking, or speaking on a topic that you are known for. So where we've done this before is joined in organizations to share coaching CPD and content with internal pools of coaching. That's what we're known for. That's what people want to hear from us about. So you can use your knowledge, your expertise, both from your previous corporate career and life, what you know of coaching in terms of mindset, to develop a brand around something that you are known for. And you can use your coaching philosophy to be able to create like keynote speeches that will support you to be able to go into organizations or organizations. It may be other organizations within your community, or in different parts of scrap that bit. You could go and speak in different organizations within your community and share your knowledge and wisdom and get paid for the performance that you bring through speaking.
You could actually work with an agency to find you speaking opportunities, and it often goes hand in hand when if you've got a book that has been very successful, and you're then on people's radars, and also you've got a strong personal story or a story that you're able to share with others, so that people feel like they're getting to know you, and actually you're the evidence itself of the value of the tools and techniques that you're providing. So yeah, there are people that choose that route or have that as one of the avenues for income. I think we're going to end up with 13 because I've still got 2 on my list here. So let's just call it 12 plus a bonus. So the final 2 I have on my list, and Zoe, you might have extra ones on yours as well. One is a membership. So it's kind of going back to like looking at the group model there. So you might have a membership program where people can pay, to join for a year, or they might pay to join on a monthly basis. And you might have a minimum term that people join for. And you need to be very clear on what is the offering. What are people going to get as a result of being a member of your community? And that might be where you host Q&As. You might bring in other expert speakers, and you might have some content like a training that people go through, month on month, or you might have challenges. So you're helping people to get from A to B through a membership model. That again might be a more accessible model for people to be able to access. And the bonus one that I have is affiliates. So an affiliate scheme is where, let's say, we see another coach who has more knowledge, skills, and experience in a particular aspect of coaching than we do. We've experienced their services, and we could therefore recommend them, through that way. And they might be launching a program, and you might think, oh my goodness, people in my audience would benefit hugely from that. We don't have the time or the capacity or the expertise to be able to do that. So we might advertise, basically support the of that individual. And if people signed up through our link for that, then you get what's called an affiliate payment. Thank you payment. It's like a commission, if you like. So you need to be very transparent about the fact that you are an affiliate and the reasons that you're recommending it and what your experience of that is. But it is another avenue for income, because as coaches, we can't do everything. And there are lots of people doing great stuff out there. Another version of it might be that you might have an affiliate link for insurers for coaches. So as coaches, working with paid clients, we need to be insured. And if you've had a good experience with a company and people are often asking you, who do you get your insurance with? You might have an affiliate link. And again, be clear, it's an affiliate link, but you might get a thank you payment. And sometimes the other person gets a discount as well.
Well, many coaches will recommend reading, won't they, to clients? Like, there are books that we love that we constantly talk about. And we do have affiliate links on our website and in our program for books that we recommend. So, that's just another way to think about how do you just add on these small things. And when you're setting up as a coach or setting up your business, you aren't going to do all of these things because it takes time. A lot of these things are about building blocks. So you think about one service, you get that ball rolling, and then you can start to think about another service. And slowly over time, you start to add all these different layers into your business. So running a successful business is a lot about strategy. It's a lot about patience. And it's about having a vision and being flexible to the way that the market moves. So, for example, retreats pre-COVID, probably not very popular. Now, hugely popular. So you can keep your eye on the market of all the different things that people are paying attention to, that are in demand, and you can start to build your business around that. And if you are thinking of getting started in coming and training as a coach, or you're intrigued about how to build a successful coaching business, or you have a coaching business and you want to take another boost and step up, add some more services in, then I'd really recommend our book, Deciding to Coach, which you can get from Amazon. We'll pop our affiliate link into the chat notes for you. That, as Jo said, is a 2-part book on helping you to make a decision about whether coaching is right for you. And the second half is all about how you set up and run a sustainable coaching business. So go and enjoy that one.